Oh man, you're boiling the tire off. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go over to the awesome table, chock full of awesome stuff. Super excited. I kind of forgot I went a little bit overboard with this stuff. It's not all in yet. The cylinder got shipped to good buddy Alfio. Can't say enough good things about him. Shipped a cylinder to him to port. For me, for this bike, he's the 180 guy. Check it out, give you a little sneak peek. That's it. That's all you're gonna see. Anyways, not really. So let's go over this. Again, I went overboard on this bike because I'm super excited that I have the opportunity to buy all this good stuff for this bike. Normally it's a hit or miss with what you can get. So I want this to be a really well-rounded bike. That's what I'm going for. So check it out. So we'll start from left to right, and I'm gonna put this on the lift as well. So we'll start with the Malossi crank, and this is a beautiful crank, Italian made. It's giant. All this stuff is just huge. Huge. I mean, that thing's giant. So Malossi crank, I'm sure that thing will run forever. Okay, so let's start with, we saw the crank, it's awesome. It's really heavy duty, it's really nice. I'm gonna check it to make sure it's legit, but I'm sure it is as far as making sure it's true. I got an OEM tail light just because it was really cheap. I got a new ignition switch as well, but that's boring, nobody cares about that. So the coolest part about this is this whole setup here. So on my bike, those are stamped junk. And these are just crazy huge, crazy thick CNC billet legs. This is a whole Malossi Italian setup. What's awesome about this is adjustable rebound and dampening, which I'm really excited about because this will just completely change the bike. Rebound and dampening, and then you've got an adjustment down here on this side as well. So with this setup, what's cool is they've included this giant rotor, which is just I haven't measured it out yet. I'm guessing 3 something, maybe. Does it say? It's a Galfer, so it's probably 320 or something like that, 300. But that's a 10-inch DO wheel, to give you an example. So it's 10 or so inches in diameter. So this should make a huge difference as well. So this came with the whole front end kit. So that came with the front end kit. So you've got the legs, you've got the whole stem, and this is just, I can tell this is really nice hardened steel here. So it's not aluminum. There are some stems for some bikes floating around that are cast aluminum. Beware of that, because they will snap on you. So for anybody doing suspension work, don't install a cast aluminum stem because you're probably gonna die if you crash. So anyways, so with that kit, we've got a new axle hardware, which is really nice, and we have this CNC billet brake caliper adapter that'll come in handy, directions, which are rad, and then we've got the screws for the rotor. So that seals up, and then we've got some other, I don't even know what, zip ties and clamps for the fork. So that's the front end stuff, okay? Then another rad thing is this Malossi Paoli fork here. Again, more adjustments as well. So I went a little bit overboard with this guy. I kind of forgot that I ordered it until it came in today. Keep going. Oh man, you're boiling the tire off. Look at it.
This is the latest burnout I've ever done.
This is the dumbest thing we've ever done. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, check it out. Rolling burnout on the Lime scooter. Oh, front-wheel drive, bitches!
So if you're over in the East Coast, take care of your bikes, please, so people like us don't have to fight them. Obviously, there's going to be some amount of fun stuff here. So only one of these rotor screws came out. Okay, one screw came out. So what I'm having to do, as you can see, basically slicing that rotor bolt right in the middle. Slicing that guy right in the middle. Well, the camera's not really focusing very well. Slicing it like that, and then applying heat to the aluminum part, basically down here, like so. And what that's doing is the aluminum is gonna expand faster than the steel, and then I'm putting a flathead in there and hitting them out with the hammer. So that one came out, that one was successful, that one came out. So now I'm working my way around. So I've got my trusty penetrant here. I have my torch, and I have some iced tea that Brandon brought me because he's rad. So, and trusty hammer and a screwdriver. So if you guys ever have to get these rotor bolts out, it's in a rusty bike, this tip works pretty good. Basically, if you cut the topsies off and damage them, you're screwed. You need to take the wheel to a machinist and have those pulled out, because it's very unlikely you're going to be able to grip a set of Allens onto that thread and pull it out. So again, always little challenges, but there's always ways to do it right. So keep me in your thoughts while I fight this one a little bit longer. Give you guys an update. So originally started on the wheels, just to do the wheels and front end. Wheel ended up, I had to take it to the machinist because the bolt's crusty and rusted and ruined. So the wheel went to a machinist. So I decided to take all the plastics off. One thing cool about this bike is the size of this gas tank and the work they went through to make it. It's insane, but it actually looks like there's a vacuum pump down here and some weird reservoir up here with the with the vacuum diaphragm. So not too sure how that all works out. Also noticed I had a giant crack in this manifold as well. So had a huge air leak on there, tiny little Delorto 20. I think it's a 20 or 21. Also, the subframe is completely ruined. The bushings themselves are totally shot. So need to source some new a new subframe there because it's wrecked as well. Not super thrilled. I mean, it is what it is, but it's kind of a bummer. So the ignition switch, which I took apart, which is somewhere down here. I'm not gonna pull it out. Ignition switch is totally rusty and crusty. It's ruined, so I need a new ignition switch. I need new clips. I need a new subframe. I need, and obviously the engine stuff's getting done. So today my plan is to take off the motor. I'm gonna take the whole chassis off, take this whole thing off. This is not how I wanted it in the lift, but this is how it worked out because I started on the front end work with the wheel, and so it's kind of backwards. But anyways, I'm gonna take the whole frame and everything off this lift. I'm gonna take the motor down. I'm gonna start taking the motor apart because the cylinder I'm guessing will be here in about 3-4 weeks. I'm gonna get the wheels powder coated, so I may as well just start the process now because it's been reduced to rubble. So what's cool about this bike, giant radiator, really nice big radiator. Everything was pretty simple to get apart for the most part. It's got a nice big beefy fan here on the back side, which is nice as well. Took the oil tank out, shocks getting replaced. Of course, I showed you guys the shock, I believe. So, and yeah, I got to go through the ignition. I have a new ignition and tumbler set up as well. So the forks came out really nice, really happy with these. So yeah, this is the next video. The next stage of where this is at. I tested the white fairings. They look decent. I'm not quite too sure on the fairings, but yeah, so this is where it sits. And the next video I'll probably be doing taking the motor apart on this guy. So